Hello, everybody, and welcome. Holy mother of pearl. What just happened there? Welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network. This is This AFC South Show, number 146. We're going to be talking nothing but Super Bowl preview all pod long. And then, if there's any pertinent news to the respective teams, we'll get to it. But Jeff couldn't be with us this evening. He's working his ass off, driving across the country, doing things. I guess the state of Texas, but still.
That's basically the country.
Basically the country.
You can fit 3 Americas inside of Texas. That's how big it is.
Jeez. Anyway, so he's also getting married this weekend. We're all going to go down. We're actually going to be the first time we've all met each other.
Woo!
So we're going to be documenting, taking pictures. We're also going to meet up in public places so we don't feel dangerous.
I feel dangerous all the time, baby. I keep that thing on me.
We aren't that clack clack. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's gonna be a big weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We got the Super Bowl around the corner. With us, as always, our resident Jaguars fan, Isaiah, aka Duval's finest, aka the Glitter Kitty Conquistador.
Oil up, baby.
Wearing his how should I phrase this? Bet.
You need to just go back and get the clip and just play it.
Yeah, I wish I could. Bet earned Will Levis Oilers jersey. With us, as always, our Titans fan, Blake, bringing sexy back in teaching history. Blake Bellamy. Yeah, he's a history teacher, and I imagine there's just some high school girls out there just like, oh.
Oh goodness.
That boy ain't right.
Accurate. Anyway, so please don't kill me, Brooke. But but let's get into it. Super Bowl is around the corner, 5:30 this Sunday. Round 2 of San Francisco versus the Chiefs. So
There's no narrative.
Jeff already gave us his prediction, 24-21 49ers. The over-under here, 47.5 points. The Niners are favored by 2.5. Who wants to dive on this one first?
I mean, I can go first.
Okay.
I don't know how true this is, and one of you might know. I heard that they are considering benching Chase Young for this game because he has a habit of taking plays off, which, I mean, good on the 49ers. They actually consider him a liability at this point. And, honestly, you trade for a guy like that, you give up all that stuff, and for him to come onto your team and then, take off big plays and stuff like that, I mean, that's just ridiculous. You're paying a lot of money for a depreciating asset in the first place, and then he comes over there and depreciates himself, But, I mean, realistically, with the 49ers, I think they are a more complete team than the Chiefs. They don't have Roger Goodell on their side, but hopefully they can break a little bit of that Taylor magic and just kind of put a good couple drives together. I think this one's going to really come down to whoever turns the ball over first is going to lose this one. I think it could be a shootout. Could be a good defensive game, but I think it's going to be more on the shootout side. And I trust the 49ers defense and offense a lot more than I trust the Kansas City offense and defense. So, we'll see. I would say like 28-24 49ers, and Brock Purdy's going to throw 3 touchdowns. Big Brock,
Big Brock slanging.
Oh, yeah.
CJ Stroud just won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Blake, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Now, I want the 49ers to win. I just feel like you said, Roger Goodell is on the Chiefs. The entire NFL just seems like the media, the narrative wants the Chiefs. And if the NFL is scripted, like the rumors have been saying, Chiefs are probably going to win this game. But I'm a football fan. I think that players aren't going to throw games, especially a Super Bowl. Like, this is every athlete's dreams to win a Super Bowl ring. And I think the better team's going to win. I think the Chiefs, they've stumbled themselves into the Super Bowl. I think they just completely the Bills just gave up that game in the AFC Championship game. I don't think the Chiefs should be there. They're pretenders. I feel like they're the Eagles last year. They just kind of stumbled their way into the NFL or the Super Bowl. And I'm going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game. I do think both have good offenses. It's hard to count out against Patrick Mahomes. He's our generation's Brady. But I think I'm going to go against him this time. I think I'm going to go 49ers 34-31. Gut feeling, it says Chiefs, but I can't pick the Chiefs. I hate Patrick Mahomes' family. I like Mahomes and I like the Chiefs, but I cannot stand Kadarius Toney. I cannot stand Taylor Swift. Mr. Pfizer being so annoying. Jackson Mahomes is terrible. Patrick Mahomes' wife is god awful. His mom's annoying, and his dad just got a third DUI.
Yeah, bro. Pat Mahomes hates him so much he decided to get locked up for 6 to 10 years in Texas rather than watch the Super Bowl and
It's
hang out
crazy.
with Taylor Swift again.
Yeah, Mahomes. They're just the people around him are terrible. I like Mahomes, but man, the people around him are just god awful. My goodness. I can't root for that man to win. I'm going with Brock Purdy. I think the story's better. Mr. Irrelevant going against a first-round quarterback versus the last pick in the draft. Love to see it. I really want to see Purdy get it. I like McCaffrey. I hope he gets a ring. I love watching Deebo Samuel play. Like, it's awesome. So I just like this team better. I hate that I'm rooting for a San Francisco team, but I got to go with them.
I'm going to push back on the Chiefs stumbled into the Super Bowl. Not in the typical way of like, oh, the Chiefs didn't stumble. They may have. They very well may have. But the 49ers stumbled in against the Lions.
Yeah.
It's not like either one of these two teams has really played up to their full potential at any point this season. I don't necessarily think that we're going to see full potential out of both teams in this game. I expect this game to be very defensive. I expect that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to put the best defense on the field in the game. I have the Chiefs winning 27-24. I have Harrison Butker winning on a last-second field goal to kind of seal it. Mm-hmm. But it's hard for me to go against Mahomes, even though he's got all the negatives around him. It's hard for me to go against the 49ers, generally speaking, because of everybody who's on that team. But I mean, the narrative of the different completely different career arcs for these two quarterbacks is amazing. The fact that Mr. Irrelevant has gotten onto a roster, period, and stayed there for more than a season is a win. The fact that he's starting is incredible. The fact he's playing well is even more incredible. It's expected out of a first-round quarterback. I think the only way that the 49ers win is Brock Purdy goes out there and puts on a clinic. He plays not game manager football, as some people would call it, but he goes out there, throws 3 or 4 touchdown passes, because I think 28 points wins this game for either team. Whoever hits 28 first is going to win this game. But I am going to remind everybody of what happened last time these two teams played. The Chiefs were down by double digits late in the second half and then come back and win. This is a resilient bunch. They've all been here before. They were here last year, with the exception of the rookies. A couple new free agents. The core of this team and Andy Reid are rock solid. The pressure is on the 49ers. The Kansas City Chiefs really don't have much to prove other than the fact of we can repeat. The 49ers have to prove that they belong. Brock Purdy has to prove that he belongs in the same category or echelon or whatever you want to call it. He has to prove that Sunday. Jeff Garcia, decent quarterback for several years in San Francisco, on pretty good San Francisco teams, was able to take them into the NFC Championship game once. He never broke through that ceiling. He could be Jeff Garcia, but a little less mobile and from Iowa.
Shout out Corn.
Shout out Corn. So look, Chiefs 27-24. I really think this game could go either way, but I think the been there, done that for the Chiefs kind of outweighs some of the talent for the 49ers. And I think Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, as of late, have been doing pretty solid. The wide receivers have done better now that Kadarius Toney's not playing as much or at all because he's been a healthy scratch. So I don't know. I think the Chiefs have the best shot in reality because they're the hottest one of the two of them coming in, even if they both fell in the door. So with that, let me ask you boys this. Outside of the quarterback position, give me one player on both sides of the ball that you think has to make an impact in Sunday's game.
I think for San Francisco, I'm gonna have to go Brandon Ayuk. Dude's been an All-Pro this year. He's been dominant. Every time they need big plays, he always shows up. What bigger time to demonstrate and showcase how incredible he is, how clutch he is, than catching like a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. I could see him doing something like that. I could see him pulling like a San Antonio Holmes in the Super Bowl against the Cardinals. I can see something like that from Ayuk. We know McCaffrey's gonna be great. He's gonna do what he's gonna do every week. But I mean, this game you're gonna need to score points, and I don't see this being a ground and pound game. I think Purdy's gonna have to sling it to keep up with the high flying offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go Brandon Ayuk. I think he could be a real game changer in this game.
Looks like Myles Garrett just won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Shouts to
Well,
him.
that's what I wanted.
Yep. So Ayuk, and who was the defensive player?
I'm gonna say defensive player for let's say I'm gonna pick one for the Chiefs. I'm gonna say L'Jarius Sneed. He's been dominant this year, and he's gonna have to stop whoever he lines up against for the 49ers because they're gonna have to throw it and they're gonna have to do something because everybody on the San Francisco offense is a playmaker. Like, who are you going to stop? So I don't know. There's just so many weapons on both teams that it's gonna be fun to watch. This is a Super Bowl that really nobody wanted. This is kind of like the 2024 election. Nobody wanted that one, and this is a Super Bowl that
Another
nobody
candidate.
wanted. So we're getting it. It's a rematch of a few years back. Just different quarterback matchup, but it'll be exciting. It's a Super Bowl nevertheless, and it should always be fun. So, but I expect a lot of big plays from both teams.
It was the exact same matchup in 2020.
Yeah, I know. And we had two back-to-back matchups.
Ugh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Isaiah?
I'm gonna go George Kittle. I think he's gonna have to be catching and blocking his ass off this game. They're gonna have to use him to chip Karlaftis and Chris Jones and these guys when they're lining up outside trying to come off the edge, and he's gonna have to, chip them and then get vertical and try and get some yards. Of course, like Blake said, McCaffrey's going to go off. I think Ayuk has had a really quiet but really great season, behind everybody really points to Deebo Samuel and talks about how great he is, but nobody really talks about Ayuk. Ayuk's the best receiver on that team, pure receiver, in my opinion. Deebo's a great gadget player and he's a great receiver, but Ayuk's a better pure receiver. He just doesn't get the credit because he's not as flashy.
Yep.
But I think Kittle's got to be the one in this game. And then, honestly, I don't like the Chiefs. I'm going to go with defensive player for the 49ers as well. I think Fred Warner is going to have to go insane this game. He's going to have to be tackling machine. He's going to have to get Mahomes. He's going to have to get him somehow. He's going to have to come up on the line, fake a blitz, and drop back into coverage. He's going to have to get to him. Even if he has to go back and sack him once or twice, he's got to get some pressure. He's got to force some incompletions and some bad throws from Patrick Mahomes. But I think those would be my two players if I had to go one on each side of the ball and bug the Chiefs.
I want to comment on what you say with Fred Warner. I think that's a huge one too. I think he's really gonna have to shadow Travis Kelce a lot. Whenever he played at BYU, he actually played slot corner, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's gonna be somebody you have to shut down. I mean, Travis Kelce is really their only receiving weapon. Kadarius Toney, like if he's active, then the 49ers are definitely winning this game. Because Mahomes has nobody to throw to. he's led the NFL in drop passes. Like Mahomes, he was a very frustrating fantasy owner this year because I had him in like every league. And he just didn't have the numbers this year like he normally does. He did not have an MVP season. And that's not necessarily because of him. He's been great, actually. It's just his receivers have been god awful. So whenever he's in need, he goes to a security blanket, which is Travis Kelce. And if you guys can lock up, or if the 49ers can lock up Travis Kelce, then honestly, this could be lopsided in the 49ers way.
Which brings up my two. I originally was going to go Fred Warner, but I'll go with someone else, and I'll have to think about that while I'm riffing about Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. As you mentioned, the most drops in the league for any wide receiver core, and there was like a huge gap between them and second. They had a lot of issues. Scantling, Kadarius Toney,
terrible.
Everybody dropping the ball.
Running backs dropping the ball. McKinnon can't catch.
Yeah, exactly. It was the literal worst nightmare for a wide receivers coach ever. With that being said, Travis Kelce, who is experiencing a down year, and I'll say that's because there's been more attention put on him because there's not so many threats on the outside. He's going to have to take several steps forward, or not necessarily. I mean, just to play above what he's been doing this season.
I mean, he didn't go off last game.
He did. He absolutely did. We're going to need more of that if the Chiefs are going to win, because he's going to need to be not only carrying Taylor on his back, but carrying all of the wide receivers, carrying multiple defenders, and probably the lunch bag across the goal line. On defense, I'm gonna go for the 49ers on this one. Let's see. Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa is going to be going up against one of the most efficient.
Nick Bosa,
yeah.
So, sorry. I forget which Bosa is where. Will Anderson Jr., AP Defensive Rookie of the Year.
That shocks me.
I think it's just odd, generally speaking.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, one team gets both offense and defensive rookie of the years.
I had Witherspoon for that one. I thought Witherspoon should have won that one. He was just dominant.
Hey, as a Texans fan, I'm love to bring.
Oh yeah, I would love it for you. You guys got both of them. That's pretty cool. The Jets had it last year. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, he's the first Houston defender to win the award since Brian Cushing, and the third all time with D'Amico Ryans as one of them as well. Who is also up for coach of the year this year. So we'll see how this goes. But on defense, Nick Bosa is going to have to do everything he can to confuse Jamal Taylor. That's right. It's Jamal Taylor, the tackle, former Jaguar. Jawan Taylor.
I thought you were talking about the passing game coordinator or something. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
No. Jawan Taylor, who has been a false start machine this year.
Right, he sucks.
And offsides and
everything.
The holding.
And they only call half of them.
I mean, literally, there was several plays where he's lined up in the backfield just because he's trying to get that much of a head start on the edge rushers.
It's crazy.
So if I'm the 49ers, I'm making Nick Bosa get in his head early, and I'm making Jawan Taylor my absolute bitch the entire game. Nick Bosa, I'm trying to think who, Chase Young on the other edge. I mean, this is a solid, good but not great offensive line for the Chiefs. The interior is definitely stronger than the outside. So the edge rushers are going to have to be huge for San Francisco, in my opinion.
Who's their left tackle?
Donovan Smith.
Does that sound familiar?
He was the left tackle in Tampa.
Oh, yes. Very mid-level guy.
Yeah. And then you've got Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, and
Humphrey's good.
And Trey Smith out of Tennessee.
Yep. He's all right.
So, I mean, and they've played well. It's not the games that the Chiefs lost this year wasn't because Patrick Mahomes is getting his shit rocked every game. It's just because dudes are dropping passes into other teams' arms. So, give me. I'm trying to think of how to word this. Who do you think is more likely to have the best coached game out of Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid?
Probably Andy Reid. I think he's a better coach in general.
I think Kyle Shanahan has a lot to prove.
That's a tough one for me because I think Reid will have a better scheme, but I think that Shanahan will keep the boys together better.
Heard.
Well, that's a tough one. That's a toughie.
I try to make them that way from time to time. It just don't always happen like that. But
it's all right. I forgive you.
I know. But I got to go with Kyle Shanahan. He's gonna have to have a perfect game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Andy Reid has got some stuff he's gonna pull out of his back pocket, and there's a good chance that San Francisco's not exactly ready for it. We'll see, but he's shown the propensity to pull some things out of his ass and make a really big mark for that particular game. If we remember the merry-go-round huddle from, what was that, last year?
So, yeah, that was last. That was funny. They did that in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like there's going to be all sorts of innumerable bags of tricks to be pulled out. So, who's your blind pick for Super Bowl MVP?
Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
I'm going Ayuk.
Okay. I'm going to go with Kelsey. In parentheses, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that, but I didn't want to pick the Chiefs because they would have had to have won Super Bowl.
I feel like the way that they give out the award though, if Ayuk is like the person to win it, they would probably give it to Purdy instead. I feel like because they just favor quarterbacks so much.
Oh yeah,
they do, but other players like linebackers and stuff have gotten Super Bowl MVPs and stuff like that. So like it's not as biased to like the NFL MVP because like Heinz Ward.
Oh yeah, regular overall is terrible.
Say what? Yeah,
the regular overall MVP is terrible.
Yeah. All right. Well, boys, do you have any closing comments about this Super Bowl? Any particularly interesting bets you may have heard of?
I've heard some interesting bets about like Taylor Swift, like if her plane shows up late. Like I've seen a lot of weird, like there's a lot of Taylor Swift bets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is a bet. It's like a plus 1.3 million that at the end of the game, aliens will show up and abduct everybody. And it's actually like a real bet you can put money on.
Hell yeah.
I wonder if they would actually even bother paying it out if it actually happened.
Absolutely not. They probably don't have the money for it.
No. But yeah, I mean there was bets surrounding Taylor Swift as far as who's going to be standing beside her in the box. And there was like a plus 600 for Jason Kelsey. I was like, really? Plus 600? That seems pretty high. I'm gonna get in on that.
I think that if it is scripted, like I said before, Taylor Swift post game show is just randomly happens, and then Travis Kelce announces his retirement after he wins Super Bowl MVP, and
then she dumps him on national television.
That'd be great.
You just see Jackson Mahomes just twerking.
Of course, it's not the Super Bowl for the Chiefs without Jackson Mahomes twerking. Then you see Brittany Mahomes throwing her kid around, just
largest swerve of the century. She breaks it off with Travis to go for Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah.
I hate Taylor Swift. I don't hate her that bad.
Oh my god. Oh man. Woo! The fucking throw up noise got me. Ugh.
I wouldn't wish that upon my gayest enemy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty unfair. All right. Well, folks, I think this is a good stopping point. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time this evening. I want to thank you all for watching. We're at 425 subscribers. We'd like to pump those numbers up. 500 is the goal right now.
8 hours to Houston tomorrow, baby.
That's right. We're catching flights and hopping in the vehicles to drive across country and then fly 2 hours to Houston to go visit Jeff. So look out for those picks, and onlyjags.com is only a few months away. So
yeah, it's in the production.
CP in production.
My Jaguar thongs are on back order. Oh, yes. Go Jags.